So if you open that map in Photoshop, I've named it TGA TIFF, but if you open that map, it doesn't matter if it's TIFF or TGA, it does not really matter at all. But it just matters that it's in Photoshop and open. We're gonna kind of look at this as, well, we need something to go here, and let's look for something on Google maybe. So just as a sample. So don't get up all my grill about being copyrighted and all that good stuff. I'm just looking for a sample here on wine label. Sure, we could make our own real quick, but okay. So first off, let's think about resolution. Okay, I have a 2048 map. Okay, so here we should maybe look in that range. Sweet. Chardonnay. Copy image. And I'm just going to go over to Photoshop and paste that in for an example. And it's going to be huge, but at least it's got the resolution. A lot of times students pick the first thing on the Google search, which has got terrible resolution. And you can see already I'm having to scale down that resolution to fit this. Notice I'm holding shift while I do so. Okay. And I'll show you why that is here in a second. We're going to take this exact same image. I'm going to place it over this, and this is the area where the UVs are for the main label. And then I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag, and that's going to make a new layer and a new copy of this one. And I'm just going to size this one down and put it right about here. Okay, and then I can use my arrow tools on a keyboard to kind of place those into spots. And the rest of this stuff, I'm just going to maybe make that color green that we are associating with the bottle. Okay, so here I'm just going to make a new layer, throw that down here. And let's see, wine bottle green would be something like, maybe like that. So I'm going to fill that with a foreground color, a wine bottle green. And also, I'm going to take and do one thing, and that's in channels. I have to eliminate this alpha or it will be transparent. So I'm going to kill that by dragging it to the trash. All right, let's save this as. Sure, we'll save it same thing. Doesn't really matter. And then let's go back to Maya and drag that one in as far as the texture goes. Now I know that it happened incredibly really fast, so I would say take your time on that, but you're going to need some Photoshop skills for this class. There's no doubt about it. If you have no Photoshop skills, you should probably back up, take some Photoshop classes before you even attempt some of this stuff. Okay, there we go. So I drag that in. Notice it doesn't have a real-time icon. It's because it's 2048. So if you click here on the sample, by clicking and then clicking over here on the sample, it will fix that. Alright, let's make a new blend. Blends are shiny and represent glass very well. Let's middle mouse button click and drag this one to default. Now I have this. And I can middle mouse button click and drag the blend over to the bottle, and there we go. Okay, notice all the words and everything else are nice. They aren't stretched or distorted in any way. Okay, same with the Chardonnay. And why that is I took my time and I used these squares to do this. Okay, if you rush through this and don't think about uniformity, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get this. You're going to get in Photoshop. If I didn't think about uniformity throughout my entire workflow, I would have had something that looked a lot like this going on. Okay? So, undo that. So, it's a very stretched texture. But since I thought about uniformity, even in Photoshop, when I held Shift down to scale these, it made sense. And again, the rest of this stuff, this bottle, doesn't really matter because of the fact that it's a material. So I just kind of plop down a texture that's kind of that material color. Let's see, another advantage of this. Well, let's see if I smooth this. What happens? Oh, look at that. Nothing happened. Smooth it again. Anything change? No, not at all. I can smooth it days long. The text is still going to be uniformed. The picture is still going to be uniformed. It's a nice thing. Now, if you look really close, though, what happens? Look how this one's a little bit wider at the bottom than this one here. Okay. When you do smooth it, after so many smooths, because you didn't model correlating to the real resolution of your model, let's say this is going to be my end resolution, and I didn't want to make UVs at that level because that would be a pain in the butt. So it'd be better to make UVs at a smaller level. You might have to, in some cases, linearly squash this one down just a little bit. Okay. So you have to think of that way too. So if I do it there, and then come back to this one, click this, and then go into it, and hit reload. You notice now the picture looks better, but now I have to move it over just a little bit. So very quickly I can kind of see where it needs to go. Here's the center of this one. This one's got its center. Let's see, I got 2 on this side, 2 on this side. About right there. And I'm going to recenter this one too because I feel that it's not really center. And of course you're going to have to play around with it a little bit, but the main important reason for doing this is the fact that everything needs to line up. Okay, those lined up really well, and you can see how nice the workflow is. I mean, I'm just in Photoshop, I save it out, I save it, I go back here, I hit reload, bam. Nice. Alright, so that's it for texturing a very small piece and looking at uniformity. Please move on to the next video.